A very good morning, and thank you first of all for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down euro dollar, pound dollar, gold, and the major dollar pairs, obviously, and see what the potential trade opportunities are. So starting off with euro dollar has been, let's say, ranging for the past 2 days, not really moving anywhere. Obviously, we had that fractal break of structure here on the daily time frame, but the internal is still bullish. And if we want that daily bearish trend to continue towards the downside, we need to break this low. But this could, over here, this fractal break of structure on the daily could be an early tail sign that we are indeed going to start pushing in towards the downside. Now, for the downside, we need the 4 hour to align with our vision. And is the 4 hour lining up? Well, obviously, I was looking for further downside from this area of 4 hour supply. Now, what has happened? We've broken above the high, meaning we've now seen a 4 hour fractal break. So at this point in time, we pretty much have an area of demand positioned over here now, which broke that fractal high and which can push euro dollar further in towards the upside, especially after such an overextended move in towards the downside. Now, at the moment, this looks more like a liquidity grab. So obviously we could just start pushing in towards the downside, but I will not be looking for any shorts on euro dollar until we break the low over here. So once we break that low, wait for a pullback in towards, for example, this area of supply, and then I will be shorting euro dollar back down in towards this area of demand. So that is now what I'm waiting for on euro dollar. But because of the fact that we are still swing bullish over here on euro dollar from this low in towards this high, we're at the EQ, also known as the equilibrium, and we're inside discount. With a fractal break on the 4 hour, we can look for those potential longs in towards the upsides. Now, what I'll do is I'll go in towards the 15-minute, and then what I can identify is that the 15-minute is also bullish. So after closing above the high over here, we had a 15-minute BOS, meaning that we can now look for a long. We've now pulled back in towards 15-minute discount, so in towards that gray zone, and now we can look for a potential long from this area of demand, this refined area of demand over here. This is the only fresh area of demand that we have left. Obviously, if you were to draw this sell before the buy candle from the body to the wick, you would also have a zone over there. But this is, for me, really the only zone where I see the market reversing from. So what you would need to see once we reach that zone is some kind of fractal change in the overall structure. Or if you want higher and more confluence, just wait for something like this internal structure to form, wait for the internal high break, and then go long. So that is that for euro dollar. Obviously, we can also just start pushing towards downside if we do not see any 50-minute reaction. Just wait for that 4 hour fractal break, and then we will just continue shorting once again. Now moving on in towards the dollar index, because the dollar index did in fact do exactly what we wanted, and that was react to this area of demand. So at the moment, it does look like the dollar index wants to push up higher. So I'll just be following the dollar for now. Obviously, this does look kind of like a liquidity grab, very similar to what happened over here after that massive dump in towards the downside. So I will be monitoring and seeing what the dollar index does for the rest of the day / week. I'm just going to be monitoring. Obviously, for now, we've reacted to this demand zone. So you could have used this as a confluence yesterday for example, Aussie dollar, which I'll touch upon in a second. But for now, let's just wait and see how the overall trend plays out. If we start breaking the low once again over here, that could be confluence for a bearish dollar. And with that low over here, I mean this low, because then obviously we've taken nearly all the demand out of this zone. So then it's like that we're just going to start pushing down lower. Moving on in towards Aussie dollar, because that is obviously a very interesting pair. And what we saw on Aussie dollar was pretty much a perfect reaction to this area of supply over here. So we knew that we could take shorts from either this zone or, of course, high probability this zone. So we ended up taking shorts from this zone. And now on the 15-minute, I was looking for an entry from so we had a reaction to this 4 hour supply zone. We pushed down, was looking for a break of this low or a break of this low, and then a pullback, but we didn't really get that soon enough. What we can clearly see is that we have very clear order flow. So for example, over here, very clear buy before the sell, tap in, boom, push back down, buy before the sell, push in, push back down. So yeah, over here again, buy before the sell, push in, push back down. So every single time that happens, you can just follow the order flow in towards the downside. Now, what has happened this morning during Asia session, we were ranging, we kind of grabbed the high and now pushed down. 50-minute is now bearish from this high, so it's kind of getting tighter and tighter, and because the only swing range now is from this high in towards this low. So if you go back in towards the 4-hour, then what you'll see is that at the moment, this over here, so this is like your entire buy before the sell range, right? So we didn't actually close below the lowest wick of the overall buy before the sell. Of course, you can kind of refine it to, let's say, this, but at the moment, the bigger issue is that the fractal structure is this. So over here, now we had a fractal low break over this on this low, now meaning that this is your fractal high. So this should be kind of like your buy before the sell, but you haven't even closed below it. So you can see now it is likely that we're just going to start squeezing, and we could potentially reverse if we break that fractal high. Of course, we do have some supply, nothing really significant. So keep your eyes open. We could start potentially reversing over here on Aussie dollar. But of course, looking at the daily time frame, it is more favorable for Aussie dollar to start pushing in towards this fresh area of demand over here. But this is the daily fractal low, and if we want to move further up and grab liquidity, which does lie above these highs, because obviously this high and this high try to take out this swing high, fail to do so, so I would not be surprised if we still see one more push up on Aussie dollar. So moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar over here on the daily time frame has been reacting to this area over here, this imbalance candle. So we wicked into it and start to push back down pretty much as we wanted. So from a daily perspective, downside still looks good. We have still kind of got these equal lows where a lot of stop losses should be placed underneath. And we have this fresh area of demand, which I would like to see a push into. Now, what I'm waiting for is a break of the fractal low over here. If we break that fractal low, I will be looking for a short. For now, it's just ranging in between this area of supply and this area of support. I'm not really gonna try and screw with it. I'm just gonna be waiting for a low break over here, then push and then push. So that's pound dollar. Then NZDUSD. I don't know why. Yeah. So NZDUSD, what you can see over here, again, this is kind of January markets. Markets are still trying to, let's say, get some volume in. What you can clearly see is pretty much just manipulation all over the board. So we broke this fractal high. After that, I was looking for a long from this area of demand on the 15-minute, but the 15-minute didn't really provide me with any long opportunity. As you can see, I was monitoring over here the fractal structure coming in towards this 15-minute area of demand. This entire sell for the buy, with this being a refined zone, we came in, nothing really. So no entry for myself. That is why I do not randomly start buying at areas of demand, guys. Always wait for confirmation. Now, just going back in towards the 4-hour. The 4-hour has now once again flipped bearish after breaking the low of this bearish candle. So now you can see we tap back in towards this buy before the sell. We tap in and we move back out. So let's see if there's more downside momentum possible on NZDUSD. Keep an eye on the 15. We could potentially start pulling in toward, let's say, this area of supply over here. And then start crashing. But my main focus lies for now still in January on the 4-hour, just so we have a little bit more confirmation and on those euro-dollar longs, which I explained at the beginning of this session. Now, last pair, gold. Waiting for upside on gold still. I think we should move in towards this area of supply very, very soon from this area of daily demand. So that's what I'm looking for now. Further upside on gold in towards 2058. So thanks, guys. Have an amazing day, and we will speak very, very soon. Thanks.